Hey, what's up guys? My name's Grant Borland. Today I want to take a look at Spitfire Audio's new library, ESTÁTICA. ESTÁTICA is a $29 library, and it's a collaboration between Spitfire Audio and Mobby Frate, as well as Conceptuin Warta. But this is kind of an experimental library. They're sound designer, experimentalists, so you're going to have a lot of unique cello recordings that are processed pretty differently, as well as some cool vocal patches and synths and tape recorder patches like drones, things like that. There's a lot of unique stuff in this library. So, I've been making some of these videos. I did the media toolkit and the pool project. I wanted to take a look at this other $29 library. I wrote a small track, so I want to take a look at that and then dive into what this sample library has to offer. Maybe listen to some of the patches and kind of talk about what you're going to get if you buy this library. So without further ado, let's listen to this track right now. And there you have it. There's a simple little demo sketch I wrote using ESTÁTICA. The whole idea came from the vocals, actually. I did these little short staccato patches, and I threw a ping pong delay on it. And really, that idea was inspired by some of the work by Ed Harrison on the soundtrack Neo Tokyo. It's from a video game from years ago, but I always was really amazed by that soundtrack. And actually, I think that's probably one of the reasons why I started getting into this type of music. I just was blown away by the soundtrack there. So this is kind of a little tip of the hat to that soundtrack, because there's lots of cool vocal textures on that soundtrack, as well as crazy electronic stuff. But I started, with that delayed vocal, pattern. It's bouncing left and right, and they're kind of creating some space with those vocals. And then, I'm kind of bringing in more drones and vocal drones too. I'd hold a sustain patch on the vocals, but drown it in reverb, so it almost acts as an ambient pad. And I kind of wanted to build this track up with the vocals, and then include the drums and the strings and piano, everything. This whole song is just a build till the end. So that's kind of the structure of this track. Pretty basic. I mean, I don't think this track is anything too crazy. I mean, it's only 21 tracks, just a quick little sketch I put together. But I think that's important. You know, you want to get a sample library that inspires ideas pretty quickly, even if you're just sketching something out. And I think Estática is perfect for that kind of thing. So I also included a little bit from my hardware synth, the mini log. See this little guy. Just a little arpeggio that I was kind of filtering in with the cutoff filter. Yeah, that's basically the track. So anyways, let's just open up an instance of Estática and we'll listen to what it sounds like. Alright, here we go. This is the GUI, Spitfire standard engine, you know. So if we open this up really quick, you know, you have the cello section, you have a tape section, you have vocals, you have warps, which is kind of like a synth thing. And that's it. Those are the 4 sections of this, but there's, you know, a decent amount of patches in here. So let's just start with the short fuzzy strokes in the cello section. Don't worry, the audio doesn't sound like that's how it's supposed to be processed, is what I'm trying to say. Like it's processed very, like in a very distorted way, so it sounds kind of unique. But you can bring this, what is it? The dynamics. If you bring the dynamics down, you can get rid of that processing and you have just a, you know, you have kind of like a staccato cello patch essentially, which is pretty useful too. And I use that in the track a little bit to kind of add, you know, movement. Yeah, that's the fuzzy strokes. Let's just soft bowings. And like I said, I'm just going to kind of jump around some of these patches, give you a quick little walkthrough of what you can expect to get. So, you know, as I push up that dynamic wheel, you started to hear the distortion kick into it, which is pretty useful too. You know, I actually really like distorted drones and stuff like that. I think about stuff like some of Sigur Ros's music does a lot of that kind of stuff, where you'll have a nice drone and then it starts to distort and get a little bit nasty. Especially on this record, that happened a lot. But yeah, you know, even if I keep the dynamics really low, I feel like you're getting just cool cello textures anyways, which is kind of cool to layer underneath things rather than maybe just a synth pad. If you want more of an organic drone, I think that this is kind of a good direction to go. You know, I feel like this is good for like documentaries and you know, maybe if you're writing trailer music, this is good for like your intros or just kind of setting the tone for a scene. Cool, and I'm not doing any other processing. What you hear is what you get. Let's do bell strokes. And man, that first note is like it's like a signature sound or something. I feel like that would be cool for like something like horror related or suspenseful. Let's do one more in the cello section and then we'll move on. Oscillating strings, that sounds interesting. That's the string section. Moving on, let's go on to the tape. We'll just start with this this first patch, which I cannot pronounce what that is. Something resonates. Okay. I feel like even with the dynamics pulled all the way back, you still get some of those like little glitchy textures. But when I, turn it all the way up, it like really fills out that distortion and it makes it a little bit thicker. That's a cool sound too. Kind of almost like relaxing spa drone, but there's also something kind of disturbing about it too. What else? Ghost signal. Moving machinery. I think that's one of the things I like a lot about this library, just like right from the get-go. A lot of these like pads and drones are really evolving, which is nice. Like you get a lot of different sample libraries where you'll have pads and whatnot, but they kind of sound a little bit stagnant. I feel like there's always something evolving in these sounds, and it just kind of keeps my interest listening to it. Really cool stuff. Alright, let's move on to the vocal section, which I personally think is like the highlight of this library. This is my favorite section, and I think that these vocals are probably worth the $29 like alone. Let's start with the rough vocals. I'm going to pull the dynamics down. If I turn it up, you'll hear it gets distorted again. But I'm going to start with it pulled all the way back so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. And then dynamics. Just great. I really like that. It doesn't sound like traditional choir libraries. It sounds like, just a few people that are recording their voices, and I think it has personality to it. It's just different than other things on the market. So I think that's why I like the vocals in this so much. It's something new for me to play around with. Short vocals. Like, that's really processed. That doesn't even, I can hear the vocals in it, but like it sounds like something entirely different at the same time. Almost like a synthesizer. Tubular vocal pad. Now let's listen to the warps, which I think are mostly like synthesizer textures, but we'll see. Actually, there's probably some just like recordings in there that are processed too. I don't think that's just synth. It's a lot of interesting sounds there. It's like ambient field recordings blended in with stuff. Alright, next, do orchestral tapes, which, is that what I used in this? I used orchestral tapes in this song that I wrote. But I just heavily filtered it in my song, so I didn't have that top end. I just kind of wanted that low to mid-range, like buried underneath everything. Cool, let's do one more patch from the warp section. Let's do orchestral feedback. like I said, I feel like these are really evolving textures, and it's, you know, just playing with that dynamic wheel or that modulation wheel, whatever you want to call it, like really just transforms the sound. But anyways, guys, that's a quick look at Estatica. I think it's great. I think, like I said, I think that the vocal patches alone are worth the money, but you also get all these cool drones and evolving textures, as well as the cello stuff too, which is, you know, there's a lot of cello patches in this, which is really awesome to use too. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you next time.